Good afternoon, Don Charles.
Good afternoon, Ingram.
Thank you so much for talking to Dereck TV.
It's always a pleasure.
And Happy New Year. It's been a while.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Although it's February, but nevertheless, Happy New Year.
You've been a busy man, Don, with lots of success coming to the gym with the Wally Camacho, obviously, yeah, buddy, and the resurgence of Dereck Chisora winning titles and, of course, a European belt.
Yeah. I mean, it's all good. It's all good. God is great. I always give praise to God first and foremost, and all is well.
So let's talk about Dereck Chisora, the 4 fights, the comeback fight, the win against Malik Scott. How did you feel about that win? Let's talk about that first and foremost.
Well, you spoke to me initially about that fight because you knew more about Malik Scott than I did, like you always do. You're a proper connoisseur. So a lot of these fighters, I've heard of them, but I don't really. It's not ignorance or anything, But once they come into our radar, then I examine them,
Absolutely.
closer. And your concerns was that it was possibly the wrong fight, and I totally agreed with you, because it's not a fight that I would have gone out my way to say let's have,
Yes.
So you're quite right. It was a very tricky fight to have taken, massive risk at that point of time of Dereck's career.
Absolutely.
On his comeback trail, but
Yes.
it was a must-win fight. It was a fight that we couldn't afford to go to points, like I said to you. We took it, which is a big ask, to ask my fighter to go and stop the guy, because that was the plan. That would never gone the distance with Malik Scott. That was never, we're never going to win that fight, over 10 rounds or 12 rounds it was scheduled for. So, when you plan things sometimes, calculated risk you take, it was a calculated risk, and it paid off. And yes, it was a very good win. Although the stoppage was deemed as controversial.
Yes.
But we're not the referee. The referee is there to officiate and make judgments. They have a split second to do so. He's the closest to the action. If that was my fighter, I would have liked him to have been given an opportunity to maybe have continued, okay?
Yes.
But, like I said, I'm not the referee. But the man in question, as in the man who was involved in the Malik Scott, he didn't seem to complain, okay? So only the fighter knows what they're feeling, And I think he was hurt prior to the actual shot that he went down from. I think I looked at him from where I was standing ringside. He looked a bit. The body shots were getting to him, and people don't realize this. The fighter knows what they're feeling. Then sometimes they look for excuses to bail out. Okay, maybe it wasn't the actual shot that put him down, that grazed the top of his temple. I think the body shots prior to that, if you could hear them, they were rifling into his body, and nobody's ever gone to Malik Scott's body, which is when we were doing our research on him, I noticed that the only way to get these characters and slow them down, someone as skillful as him, is to go to his body.
Yes.
And then I think that's where the fight was won, with the body shots.
Yes. Yes, I mean, I interviewed Malik almost 2 hours afterwards, after he got out of the ring, in his hotel room, and the inquest begun. I mean, it was like, well, you're an experienced fighter, you went down, you could have beat the count, why did you decide to get up at the count of 9? He said, well, the referee, it was to the count of 10, he thought he was going to get up at the count of 9. He remembered when Lennox Lewis got knocked out by Oliver McCall, and Lennox got up real quickly, and he was on unsteady legs. So those were his reasonings behind the reason why he decided to take a late count. And of course, Malik had sparred many rounds with Lennox Lewis. So he learned from a great teacher. So in that sense, he took that in and said, if it ever happened to me, that's what I would do. And so
it take as long as possible. I understand that, but it was a bit late. But you know what? Like I said, the referee is there to make a decision.
Absolutely.
Okay, the referee didn't feel that he wanted to carry on. That's the body language. The referee has to make that decision, and he made a decision. Sometimes we get it wrong. If we then go back to Michael Watson, when he fought Eubank, Michael Watson at the round 11, should never have been let out to come and fight in the round 12.
Absolutely.
Right. So again, this is a very fine line. Whether when we get it right and wrong, the referees, the fighter can live to fight another day. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it makes it all right. Okay. If that was my fighter in Malik Scott's position, I would have protested and said no. He should have been given. I've seen fighters in worse state carry on. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, the referee has got a split second to make a decision, and he made a decision.
Okay, so again, Malik Scott's character, such a great man in character.
Yes, he is.
Big fuss about the thing. And the thing was, fans were like upset because he didn't make a house, shout and scream and swear and curse and make a whole hoo-ha about it. This was
he could have, but he was very very dignified about it,
right.
And I spoke to him afterwards, and obviously I share in his disappointment. I commended him for being a gentleman that he was. He didn't complain at all. He's a great guy, and
absolutely.
I hope in the future he goes and does great things for himself in boxing. I hope so.
Fans look at that and see Malik Scott not complaining and protesting as he took a fall, he took a dive, Warren paid him off. That's the sort of
no, that's an ignorant statement. No.
There you go. But it's out there. Fans will think what they want.
Of course, listen, it's a free world, yeah. It's a freedom of speech. People got every right to say their opinion, their version of how they feel about situations.
Right.
But I can assure them, being first-hand involved, that it was never anything like that. People can assume this and suggest it, but no, that was never the case here. People, if you've been in the ring and fought and taken part, go and look at the fight. I'll challenge or invite, should I say, not challenge, any pundit, yeah, to come and sit with me, and I will go through that fight step by step and tell them a lot of things that happen in the boxing ring. Yeah, people don't realize what's actually going on. Okay, they're done. Certain punches that you might not think that's breaking someone down, you don't see them. Okay, but I can sit down and piece by piece and tell you, right, he didn't do that there because he's hurt. Okay, he was actually hurt in the second round, Malik Scott. He took a temple shot that he smiled and spun away from Dereck. He smiled at Dereck. That shot easily could have put him away in the second round. A lot of people wouldn't have seen that. Okay, so, and then the body shots, like I said, is the way the brain works. The fighter is thinking, you know what? Nah, this is too much. This is not. When you're physically feeling the man in the ring, people say, till they're in the ring feeling what they're feeling, no one knows what they're feeling. Having first-hand experience and being close to these guys, in sparring and in actual competition, you get a better thing of being able to judge of what. I know when my fighter is in trouble.
Right.
Like Dereck Chisora, I know certain reactions he does, and I know, yeah, he's hurt.
Yes.
A lot of people won't say it, but I say it because I'm the trainer. I know his body language.
Absolutely. So let's move very quickly on. Malik Scott now challenges
Deontay Wilder.
Your quick thoughts on that?
I always go about styles, yeah. Malik Scott's the smoothest operator that I've seen in a long time, okay, as a heavyweight. I've always said, even when the first fight was first made with him and Dereck, and I thought, my goodness, this guy is a smooth operator, slick, combinations, smooth, silky combinations. But fighting is about styles, yeah. And him being matched up against Deontay, I don't believe you can win a fight against Deontay from the outside, and I just can't see Malik Scott being able to maneuver himself where it would be uncomfortable for Deontay Wilder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Deontay is the taller out of the two, I believe.
Yes.
Right. So unless Malik is able to maneuver himself into a position where he's not at the end of Deontay's rangefinder.
Yes. And he's
then I'm afraid, if it's based on boxing skills, Malik Scott all day long. But unfortunately, Wilder has this ability to keep you at the end of his jab. I don't believe Scott will be able to back him up.
If Scott can get on the inside, if he can back Deontay Wilder up and land something significant, that would be interesting.
I can't see that happening though. The reason being, again, is styles. Yeah,
absolutely.
I can't see. I think Malik fights really well on his back foot.
Yes.
which is another problem. And now I keep referring back to the Dereck Chisora's situation. When I studied the fight, we're good at putting people on their back foot, and if you can't box on your back foot, you're not going to be successful against us. And Malik Scott, when I was looking at him, I thought, wow, this guy boxes beautifully on his back foot.
Right.
Yeah, which not many people can do that. Okay. Then against Wilder, yes, he'll be able to box on his back foot, Malik Scott. But unfortunately, Wilder has this thing of being able to set you up with that telescopic jab and then bringing the right hand over the top, on top of the head, which sometimes is an illegal punch that he throws, by the way. Okay, so yeah. Well, this one is not even a rabbit punch. It's like a hammer blow. Yeah, we'll call it the hammer punch. Literally, it's like a hammer. It comes on top of your head. There is no defense for it. It's illegal. But it comes. It hammers it. It's a hammer blow, and it comes on top of your head. There is no defense because it's not actually boxing. It's not a boxing punch.
Right. Wow. So
when you watch him, study him, then you see the punch I'm talking about. I
find Deontay Wilder pretty wild and pretty open, and what I saw, even for the Lajkovic matchup, for as short as it lasted, the double jab seemed to give Deontay problems. So somebody's got a very good jab and can put him to box someone's back foot. It'll be interesting to see what Deontay can do when somebody's backing him up rather than him coming forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Hence why I said it's about styles, and I don't believe Malik Scott has the style to be able to back him up.
So your prediction for the fight?
But my prediction, unfortunately, I hate to say this because Malik's a great guy, but you ask him my opinion. My opinion is that I see another knockout KO thing for inside 6. I think Malik will be able to, because of his skills, will be able to last up to 6 rounds, 6 to 8 rounds, and I think he'll be stopped.
It'll be interesting to see Deontay Wilder go past 4 or 5 rounds, and let's see him go into the later half of a fight and see what his stamina's like. Yeah,
but it depends on what you're doing to him in those rounds. He can go, I'm sure he can go 12 rounds. If you're not pressuring him, there's not wasting any energy, is there? So if he's pressured for those rounds, then that's when you're going to be able to find out what he's made of. I still say, should we ever get to contest against this guy, that's when then you'll see. Dereck, I'm afraid, because he's my fighter, I might sound a bit biased.
Yeah.
He's probably the only heavyweight at the moment in this world that has the style, to give that guy hell and stop him. Again, I won't go into details in case we get to fight him soon, so I'm not going to give away anything.
Sure.
So basically, it's about styles. Unless you're going to get inside this guy's chest and back him up, I'm afraid he will always be successful.
Absolutely. My point exactly. I agree with that. Now, let's move on. You've had wins against Parler and Gerber. Obviously, Gerber for the European title. What does that feel like, holding the European belt as a trainer?
It's great, but we're greedy. We're not satisfied. It's great holding that belt.
You should have had it before against Helenius.
It's a prestigious, but exactly, I mean, look, we like you quite rightly said, Jeff, we should have had it many years ago against Helenius.
Yes.
It never came then. We got it this time. Like I said, we're greedy. I'm greedy. Dereck is very greedy. We don't want that. We're not satisfied. We want more. We want the world titles. That's what we want.
You've always said that. You've always said you wanted the world title. Now, there is something I'd like to bring a slight comparison with, if you don't mind me. Dereck Chisora's weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone talking about how with Dereck lost weight, he would be slicker, he'd get in faster, he'd get better head movement, blah, 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 blah. So Dereck, because he was, let's say, in some eyes, overweight, even though he wasn't overweight, he was just a thick-set guy. If he lost the weight, then he would be so much better. To Gary Mason. Do you remember Gary Mason?
Of course, my friend, my sparring partner, yeah.
Right, he was unbeaten and a British heavyweight champion, touted for a lot of big things, and he lost all the weight quite quickly, and then he fought Lennox Lewis. And of course, some people said, well, if he had all that weight, he'd probably be more effective against Lewis. Other people said, well, no, Lewis was just a better fighter. Blah, 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 blah. Now, where I'm bringing the comparison is that, Dereck has lost some weight, and from what I'm seeing as a fan, is now Dereck is looking more agile, but he seems to be getting caught with punches now that he wasn't getting caught with punches beforehand, and being shaken up much more than he was before. Has that got anything to do with the weight loss, or just to do with the fact that now I don't know? You tell me.
So you can read into a number of things why Derek's getting tagged with punches. Let's face it. I'm not saying it's right to take punches. No, it's not. Nobody ever goes into a fight. You're gonna get hit, right? You know the old saying.
Yes.
You go in the shower, you're gonna get some water on you.
Of course.
But you got to minimize how much water you get on you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, my boy's getting caught frequently, and he doesn't like it. I don't like it because I always pride Dereck as having a very good defense.
Absolutely.
That defense is being penetrated at the moment. We're looking at it. Don't worry. We're looking at it. Is it down to the weight loss? No, I don't think it's down to the weight loss. It's down to, again, styles. It's also down to people studying you. Those guys, yeah? The same way we study people, they study us, yeah? They're reading Dereck Chisora more.
Yes.
Okay, simple as that. They're reading him more, which way he rolls and where to place the punch when he rolls and stuff. So, it's, you got to give the opponents credit.
Absolutely.
Right, you got to give them credit. If you've done your homework, the same way we do homeworks on people, they do homeworks on us. And it's up to us now to go and keep improving to make sure that they think they've studied you. You've always got new things to add to what you originally was doing. So if they then try to think they've done their homework, you've got to always be steps ahead, basically.
Okay. This may
I don't think it's to do with the weight loss. No.
Okay. So what about the other thought that maybe because Dereck got knocked out by David Haye, that had some sort of effect on him?
Yeah, naturally, he's a human being. Yeah. So what happens now? Whereas before he would have probably got caught with the same punches, and the brain was saying, "No, I'm not hurt." But now, because you've already been knocked out, when you take a punch, the brain sends a message. Oops, I've been here before. It hurts. Yeah, and you react in the way you wouldn't have reacted initially before you got knocked out. So that's just a human thing. That's just a fighting thing. Has your punch resistance gone? It's the way the brain deals with it. I couldn't tell you whether his punch resistance have gone. I'm not Dereck Chisora. Yeah, we've spoken about it. Okay, I think it's purely to how the brain, a human brain, reacts.
Okay.
Because prior to David Haye, I haven't even seen Dereck rocked in sparring. Yeah, he's never been rocked in sparring. I've never seen him dazed. I've never seen him go down. Then after the David Haye fight, then like you quite rightly noted, yes, in the parlor fight, and what's the other chap's name? Gerber.
Yes.
He got caught, yeah, with a single punch, and he reacted in a way that we don't see him before, where he backpedals.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just the brain saying, "Oops, I recognize this pain." Right, and then he's able to use his. You got to give it to Dereck. I mean, I admire him. Most fighters, again, Bruno, for all his career, he didn't know how to react when he was hit. He didn't know this. His survival instincts weren't very great.
Yes.
You understand? But at least Dereck Chisora, he has this thing of doing his Muhammad Ali dance when he gets caught, and it gives him time to recover. Yes. But we don't want to see that again, because I certainly, we're going to avoid that happening.
Okay, now let's move on very quickly at this point. With Dereck Chisora. Now everyone's talking about the fight against Fury. That's no secret now. The rematch in the summer, possibly at West Ham Football Ground. That's been talked about. Now, I was stunned, absolutely stunned, when I heard that Dereck Chisora would be fighting Kevin Kingpin Johnson. Because it's like, why are you fighting him? I mean, he's not in Europe. He's American, but he's a tricky American. You know, and he's got the style there to make it not only an ugly fight, but if Johnson's in shape and Johnson comes to actually fight, could cause nightmares, because he's a counter puncher and Dereck just walks straight on to shot. So you kind of think to yourself, this is not really the sort of match you really want to be preparing for Tyson Fury, really. Now, that's just my thoughts. What do you think?
You're entitled. Your observations, pinpoint, accurate. Your opinion, you're entitled to your opinion.
Yes.
Right, let me make it clear. Yes, he couldn't challenge Dereck for the European title,
Right.
but Dereck also has 2 other belts, as you know.
Yes.
Okay, the international belts, yeah, intercontinental belts, yeah.
Right.
Right. So I believe those are the belts he's eligible to challenge Dereck for.
Of
Right.
course.
Now, one of the hardest things in boxing, is matchmaking, being a promoter. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I'm a trainer, but what I've made it my job to do is to also try sometimes to matchmake. Yeah. Do you know? Again, we don't pull out these guys from the sky. Like we want to fight this guy. We want to fight this guy. Is who would take a fight against Dereck Chisora? Nobody in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the guys who are eligible to challenge him for the European title? None of them want to know. They don't want to fight Dereck. None of them. Okay? Then what's the point of getting another European fighter who is not in the top, let's say 20? Yeah. Okay, it's a hard sell for the promoter. Dereck's got to top the bill. It's a hard sell. Yeah. We're not in the position where we can just get someone from top 20 or top 25, let's say, number 23, 24, 25, to fight. It wouldn't be fair on the public.
Having said that, people want to see Tyson Fury, Dereck Chisora too. People are interested. That's what they want. But if Dereck were to get, let's hope, if Dereck were to get beat by Kingpin, and there was a major shock there, that messes up.
Of course.
A Fury Chisora fight.
Of course. Of course.
know,
listen, there's a risk in anything we do in life, as long as it's a calculated risk, yeah? Okay?
Yes.
We've done our sums. We've got our answers. We've put our two and two together. We know what we'll come out with.
Right.
Okay? Right. You're entitled to your opinion. The general public are entitled to their opinion that Dereck might come unstuck against Kevin Johnson. Yeah, of course, there's always a possibility that could happen. It's a very dangerous fight. Okay? Yeah. It's a very dangerous fight. That just shows you, again, the mentality of Mr. Chisora and his promoter. You got to commend our team. Yeah? Because a lot of people want the easy way to stardom, to everything. Dereck has never taken the easy way. You could call it ignorance, you can call it whatever you want to call it. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay? Yeah. So basically, with the Kevin Johnson situation, no, he wouldn't be our number one guy who we want to fight. But he's a guy who, when called, he said, "Yeah, I'll fight Dereck Chisora." Okay? We've looked at it. He's very tricky. Yeah? Can we beat him? You've got to ask yourself a question. Can we beat this guy? Have we got the technique to beat this guy and the tactics to beat? The answer is yes. Okay, we spar with people who no disrespect to Kevin Johnson, respect his achievements and what he's done, and the threat he's going to possess on the night. Dereck can deal with that style.
Yes. A work rate, I believe Dereck can outwork Johnson, especially if Johnson comes in that defensive mode where he doesn't want to fight.
Johnson can do whatever he wants to do, right? Mm-hmm. We've got his numbers. I've been fortunate to see the guy close hand in your court when he came over for the international prize fighter.
Right.
Okay, he's on American, beat him. And Albert Sosnowski was giving him all kind of problems.
Yes.
Okay, Albert Sosnowski, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No disrespect to Alba, he's a very lovely man, but he's a very poor version of Dereck, in terms of rolling, and the lateral movement is non-existent. And anyway, listen, I'm not going to go into details. Like I said, we've done our homework.
Right.
We're confident of being successful against Kevin Johnson. We will win the fight.
That gives me confidence. When you're speaking like that, Don, it gives me great confidence.
We haven't come this far by we've gotten it wrong sometimes. Yes, we have, that's life, Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. I believe we've got it right most of the times, yeah? We're happy. Are we happy where we are? Yes, we are. We don't just, this is not like a guess. It's something we sit down and study. Yeah, I share your concern. I see your concerns. I see everybody's concerns.
Right.
Yeah, but fear defeats a lot of people in life. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, we embrace danger. We embrace it. Yeah, and we deal with it. Yes, it's a dangerous fight, but we've looked at it from every angle and we've prepared for it. We've trained for it. Yeah, we've got plans for it. I'm sure Kevin Johnson, he's got plans. He's been studying Dereck as we speak. And there's very interesting. If I could, you probably bring it up. If you don't, just before I forget, there's a gentleman, a trainer, American trainer, who somebody put it to my attention that he was saying that Dereck needs to change his style or something.
Ah, James Ali Bashir, yes. James Ali Bashir,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry?
I was actually going to bring that to my next question.
You were? All right, I'll let you bring it to me in your fashion. Bring it to me in Ingram fashion, Valeric fashion.
Okay, it has been by Vladimir Klitschko's assistant trainer, James Ali Bashir, talked about the fight between Vladimir Klitschko and Dereck Chisora, which would be a great fight. But he says the reason why Klitschko would beat Chisora is because his style, he needs to make adjustments. You can't just keep walking forward in fight.
Sorry, whose trainer is he?
The trainer of Vladimir Klitschko, his assistant trainer, James Ali Bashir.
So the trainer of Vladimir Klitschko?
Yes. James Ali Bashir.
Is that who's training Vladimir Klitschko now?
Yes, he has been for the last quite
fantastic. That's good. That's fantastic, because I'll be honest, I've heard of the gentleman's name, but I didn't know who he trained or who he had trained, because I'm quite ignorant like that.
He's had 40 years experience.
So he's saying that Dereck needs to what?
Needs to make adjustments, because he feels that he just keeps walking forward in that one style, and as you move up the levels, you need to be more adaptable.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, again, he's entitled to his opinion. He's a trainer.
Of course.
But I just one advice to him is to take care of his own fighter, and let us take care of our own fighter. And should my fighter ever meet somebody that he's training, then he'll be able to find out exactly what we do. What Dereck does to someone looking, they wouldn't quite understand it. Mm-hmm. But ask anyone who's been in the ring with him; they will tell you he's not as easy as he appears to the naked eye.
Well, James Ali Bashir has done a lot of talking about he'd like Vladimir to fight Chisora. I'm sure Chisora would love
he must know. He must know something that the great late Emmanuel Stewart didn't know, because the great late Emmanuel Stewart had confessed to me 7 weeks prior to his death, God rest his soul, okay, why he pulled Vladimir out of the fight. Mm-hmm. Bashir must know something great Emmanuel Stewart doesn't know, because we tried to fight Vladimir in what would have been Dereck Chisora's 15th fight, professional fight, in Mannheim in Germany.
Yes.
And great Emmanuel Stewart pulled him out 2 days prior to the fight. Okay? It's still the same Dereck Chisora who went on to fight the great Vitaly Klitschko. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Right? When a lot of people told me, are you crazy when you took that fight? He's going to get knocked out within 2 rounds.
And I said that would never happen. I didn't see that.
Right.
I thought that would give him a tough fight. I did say I'd give him a tough fight.
You did. I think you were still based in London at the time, yeah?
At the time when I said it.
Yeah, right. And like I said, all these experts, I totally admire and appreciate their expertise when it comes to predicting and predicting fights and giving their own version of how they see it going. But to Mr. Bashir, from me, I'm glad you actually told me. To be honest, I didn't know that he was a new trainer for Vladimir Klitschko.
He's been in there for years. He was there in the same camp with Muhammad Ali, in the camp with let me think. He was in the camp with Lennox Lewis as well. So him and Emmanuel Stewart worked together for many years. Years.
Yeah. Then he would have been there to say to the great Emmanuel Stewart that he should pull Vladimir out of the fight with Dereck, right?
Yes, I did pull it.
The same Dereck Chisora.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So, like I said, with God willing, all goes well, because we can't overlook Mr. Johnson on the 15th. That is our focus right now. Mm-hmm. And provided we can overcome Mr. Johnson on the 15th, then the Tyson Fury fight beckons, and I believe we will be successful in the second time of asking against Fury, and hopefully we can get to meet Vladimir Klitschko.
Let's talk about, before we just to end, let's talk about Tyson Fury and that fight. Should you be there? What do you see different this time with Tyson Fury to last time, and yourself with Dereck Chisora?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What's the difference between this Dereck Chisora and the Tyson Fury would be facing compared to last Dereck Chisora?
Right, this Dereck Chisora is matured on all angles. By age, he's more experienced. Since Tyson beat him, Chisora, Dereck's gone on to do other things. He's fought for a WBC title. He's the current European champion. Okay, and he's gotten better on all aspects. He's more experienced. Me as a trainer, I've got more experience. I've gotten better at what I do. And collectively, we believe we will be victorious against Fury this time. Yeah, the Dereck Chisora that fought Tyson, I'm not going to make excuses. Start making excuses. Should never have been in a boxing ring that night. Okay, we've learned from it that don't get into the ring unless you're, 100% mentally able to deal with the situation and also physically able to deal with the situation. Like I said, I'm not going to go into details, but you'll see a total different outcome this time. But we must take care of Mr. Johnson. Our focus is on Mr. Johnson.
In terms of Fury, how do you feel he's moved on since the last time you fought?
Sorry?
Since the last time yourself and Fury fought, Chisora and Fury fought, how do you feel Fury's moved on?
Listen, the kid's gone on and done. He's done great for himself. He's an improved fighter. Like Dereck, Tyson's been improving all the time. I've been monitoring. I'm one of the few people that has credit or gives credit to Tyson Fury. Whenever I'm asked about Tyson Fury, I always say how improved he is. And he's a young man. He's a big young man. He's a big fella, He's a very big 6'9" guy who knows how to use his height. He's a fighting man. This is a guy you can knock down and he'll get up and he usually ends up finishing the fight by a KO himself. Do you understand? So, he's a very ambitious confident young man. He's improved a lot and he's still improving.
In closing, I cannot not talk to you about your buddy, Wadi Camacho. He's from the East End, same area of the East End as myself. His fight against, I think it's Stephen Simmons, is it? Am I right?
Simmons, yeah.
Yes. Can you talk to me about why there's such bad blood between those two guys?
Sorry, you broke up a...
Sorry. Can you tell me why there's so much... Can you tell me why there's so much bad blood between Simmons and Camacho?
Yeah, from what I can get, you're saying why is there so much beef between them, yeah?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Because you're breaking up a little bit, yeah. Right. Basically, that's personal between the two fighters. I don't really get involved with that. Just to let you know, when I was shown, I was initially told about the Stephen Simmons fight months and months ago. I told the manager, Jess Hardin, I said, make the fight. Okay, make the fight. And then, like I said, that fight was made. And since then, a lot's happened, actually, because Wad is no longer with me.
Oh, my gosh. What happened?
You'll have to ask Mr. Camacho.
Okay.
I just got a text off him a few weeks ago saying he no longer wishes to carry on with myself. He wants somebody who's going to give him 100%. I thought I was giving him 110%. So you'll have to take that up with him.
Wow.
But as far as the fight's concerned, the coming fight, I still believe if I didn't think Wadi would beat the guy, I wouldn't have taken the fight. The style's made perfect for Wadi Camacho to be successful, and I think he'll stop the guy.
Okay, fantastic. Ojideri, is he still with you?
Who's that?
Ojideri.
Oh, most definitely, yeah. Daily, yeah.
Daily, yes. So, what's happened with him? What's going on with his career? I heard he made a comeback. We had a fight.
There's two brothers. There's JJ Ojideri and there's Daily Ojideri. Which one are you referring to?
The one that was on Big Brother.
Yeah, he came out of Big Brother and he was training for a fight. He got injured. He had a leg injury. We had to pull him out. So he's now fit again. He's training for a fight next month.
Okay.
Okay, he's training for a fight. He's looking really good, and I'm looking forward to, because he's a guy, a very talented guy, and I think he's going to go a long way. And but we've got to take it step by step. But he really has to get a move on now, because he hasn't been that active, you know. So we're trying to get him moving on to try and achieve what he should be achieving. By the end of this year, I don't see why he shouldn't be contesting for the British title.
Okay. Don Charles, it's always a pleasure talking with you. A very charismatic trainer and doing big things.
It's always a pleasure talking to you, my friend. Try not to stay away too long this time. I haven't heard from you for a long time. I thought you'd forgotten me.
No, I haven't forgotten you. Not at all. Thank you so much, Don Charles.
Take care. Bye.